Okay, I'm gonna try this again. I just did this and got kicked off because a doctor's office called me back. And I'm not that skilled yet, so I can't figure out what I'm doing. Anyway, hi, this is Yarn Equals Joy podcast episode 3. Here are all the deets. I am, and it's upside down. That's a brilliant way to begin. I am Yarn Equals Joy. This is episode 3. I am Joan Mag Bags, Project Bags on Etsy. I'm Rach Lee Book Girl on Instagram and Rach Lee on Rav. So hopefully you can find me if you're looking for me. Thanks. I hope that this gets better with age. I'm hopeful that I will get some assistance this week. My kids are home, at least 2 out of the 3 are home and have offered to help me up my skill set with editing, which is 0, so anything will be an improvement. And so they said if I filmed, they would help me. My son's lovely significant other is here, and she has offered to help, so we'll see what we can do. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm filming in Texas in the United States where I live. I am a teacher in my real life, and we have the week off for Thanksgiving, which I'm enormously grateful for because I am cooking for our extended family and hosting them here. So I shouldn't be podcasting. I should be baking chocolate chip pies and pumpkin pies and raspberry cheesecake and getting all the other things out of the way that I can get out of the way before tomorrow and Thursday. But anyway, I'm trying this, and I want their help editing, so I really want to get this done. I have a remarkable 3.5, really 4 finished objects, but one I don't have with me. So I'll get the one I don't have with me out of the way. I'm a huge fan of the Olive and Jack pattern. It's a beautiful cabled hat. I've made it many, many times, and I just made one and gifted, and it is out of Joshua Tree, a beautiful DK twist, olive green Madeline Tosh. And that came out really well and was done like in a few days. It's just a brilliant, brilliant, easy, beautiful cabled hat. Okay, so the ones that are here are obviously more interesting. I know you saw the Amara shawl by Rebecca Louise, and it's done in one skein of Leading Men Fiber Arts in their long stocking colorway. I also used a little contrasting mini in a cream color to do that ruffly edge so it would really stand out, which I think made it really pop. I have I think it's called Grainline Studios, where I got my labels, Rachel's Wool and Love, which I'm trying to be better about putting on things. This is a really lovely one skein project if you have a plethora of skeins of yarn, one-offs as I do. And I made it for a friend. I think it will be a really nice sort of wrap around cozy but not too overwhelming kind of shawl. The ruffles really make it. They are a little pain in the butt to do because you're doubling and doubling, but it's a great way to use a skein. I think the pop of color, I'm so glad I thought of that before I finished, because I think that really adds a lot and makes it a really pretty gift knit. My second, also a gift knit. This is also by Rebecca Picot, the dyer behind Fuse Fiber Studio, and the pattern is called Exordium. This is, I think, my second time making it. It's a very big asymmetrical triangle with lots of stripes and this fun sort of cluster pattern, and it looks really, really nice sort of around the neck because it has all these different colors and textures, and so this will go to one of my sisters, also not a knitter. I don't remember. I know the purple is an old Mad Tosh, and I you know, the blue could even be Fuse Fiber Studio. I've had a lot of her yarn. It's gorgeous with all these flecks of purple, and I think the colors just work really well together and will make kind of a beautiful pop of color at the neck. So that is the Exordium shawl. Really pretty. And my third FO that's here is still a little bit damp because I just blocked it. This is the gorgeous Wolfy hat pattern by Natasha Hornsby. I did it in Quince & Co. Chickadee. The orange is Nasturtium, and the taupey gray color is Caspian. I'm kind of obsessed with this corrugated rib at the bottom. I think it came out, you can see the ends aren't cut off because I do that after. I wove them in, but I did that after. I will do that after it's completely blocked. But I love it. I think it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. I think it will look really different. I've seen it mostly in black and white, and I think that's what the pattern was in initially, but I love it in this orange and taupe. I think it's really striking looking and really unique. So very fun. Okay, so whips are next. As you see, I've been like trying to finish things for the holidays, so I don't have probably as many whips. I'm going to show you one that I've already shown you, and I don't think you can really see how much progress there's been, but for some reason the shawl seems fairly slow going. I think because, you know, you have to pay attention, each row is different. This is Salt by Sylvia McFadden in Malabrigo Rios, the Valentina color, which is a gorgeous like pinky purple, really soft. This says to really block it like crazy, so I'm assuming that the sort of scrunched feeling texture it has will kind of block out, and it will, but it's incredibly soft and lovely. And I think I am going to, I have extra yarn. It's a different dye lot and it looks a little different, but I may risk it and just try to make it even bigger, because I think this would really be super, super cozy if it was really, really big. But as you can see, this geometric pattern is just gorgeously classic, and I already have like this goldy pecany brown color to try to maybe make another one. If I give this one away, I will keep the other one for me. I love it. Okay, so that's one. The second whip is in a bag I made a while ago, but it's a really fun, sort of one of a kind. It has the zippers that go in either direction, which I really like, and then it has this neon sort of yellowy green felt with this kind of fun pop of orange. So if you're interested in that size and style of bag, I can make some more and put some in the shop at some point. This is the Knit Sister Toops scarf by Adrienne Sauter of the Fiber Friends podcast, which, if you haven't seen it, is one of my favorites. Three lovely ladies in Canada, and they laugh a lot and get a little silly, and it just is fun. It just makes my day when I see that they have a new podcast. They all have sort of different interests and skills in terms of knitting and crafts. Adrienne's also a dyer. In fact, I think she did this pattern and then gifted her friends, oh, I'm losing a stitch here, let me fix that, and gifted her friends with like minis that I was a little envious of, because they were all like color blocked minis, which I think would be a really great way to do this. But I have, I participated in the Row 1 yarn subscription that comes every month with several, like 20 or 10 minis from a different dyer, and it's beautiful. It's beautifully done. If you're interested in enhancing your stash of minis, it's really a great way to go. It's called Row 1, and I think it's about $35 with shipping to the US. I know it's a little more out of the country, but it's really beautiful. And so I have a lot of those, and so I'm using Miss Bab's Hot Shot in Vincent, which is this really soft yellow, and I'm just doing that sort of as like consistent color, and then I'm just doing whatever I feel like. And I'm not working on this very consistently. It's a great thing to work on when people are around, so maybe it'll come out over Thanksgiving because I don't have to think at all. And that's good when people are around so I don't make stupid mistakes. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that sort of an ongoing scrappy project. You know, some people, many people are working on scrappy blankets. Of course, I've had and have those too, but you know, we get minis from friends, we get minis because we buy them, we get minis because we have leftover, and I think this is a really fun way to use them and to have a wearable project at the end that could be a great gift and be warm and squishy. Speaking of which, I don't know that I mentioned I'm wearing my hipster shawl by Joji Locatelli in Mad Tosh Fatal Attraction. It is not a color that I normally wear, but I love it. It's just this deep, beautiful red, and of course this trademark tassels on this shawl make it really very special and fun. So I'm enjoying that a lot. Okay, so one of the reasons I started this podcast, obviously I wanted to be part of a community that has become increasingly more and more a part of my life, and I wanted to jump in and contribute and be part of it. But I also thought that so much of yarn, the dealing with yarn, the buying of yarn, the planning of projects, the knitting of yarn, the gifting of projects gives me joy. And I thought that rather than just do a massive destash, one of the things I could do is to share a skein of mine and put it out in the world into the hands of someone who is going to really appreciate it and use it. And as I said, I think on my Instagram, this is probably the best odds of any knitting giveaway on the internet to date, because I don't have a lot of viewers, and I had more comments on my first podcast, but on my second podcast, I think there were only 4 different people, and I have put their names on little scraps of paper, and I'm going to just go old-fashioned and pick someone like out of a hat or out of a basket. So hold on. This is the beautiful basket that I'm going to use, or bowl. This is I've already wrapped it up for the holidays. It's a skein of Haverland hand-dyed in the Gladiolus colorway. It is a single ply fingering merino, 100% superwash merino, and it is really lovely, and hopefully someone will be really happy to get it. So without further ado, let's see. Okay, I guess I should do it blindfolded, just to be fair. Okay, this is the winner. And the winner is Barbara Plotz. So Barbara, if you're still hanging in there and you watch this podcast, we'll redraw next time if I haven't heard from you, and next time will probably be in 2 or 3 weeks. But please send me a Ravelry message at Rach Lee, or an Instagram private message at Rach Lee Book Girl, and let me know how to send this and probably a few other goodies, knowing me, your way. So I'm happy to do it. Just let me know. Thank you. Okay, so giveaway, sharing the joy. Next week or next time, this is the yarn we'll be drawing for. So if you are interested, this is the Dyer Yarn Cafe Creations. They also have a lovely podcast. Her daughter is the dyer behind Dragon Horde Yarns, Tristan. And this is Christie's Yarn Cafe Creations out of Utah in the States. It is her 75-25 fluffy sock. And when I say fluffy sock, I'm not sure this feels like a normal 75-25. It is literally the plumpest, squishiest, fluffiest, and it's kind of silly and playful and fun. It's all these crazy colors. It's like a light pinky peachy base with greens and purples and reds. It's called Kelpie. So if you are interested in that fun, would make some amazing socks. If you're interested, leave a comment below. Just say hi, introduce yourself, and I will enter you into the running to get this. So Barbara, you won the Gladiolus skein from Haverland. Get in touch with me, and if you are watching this and interested, you do have to be a subscriber, so please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and the little button next to it that'll let you know, the bell icon that will let you know when there's another podcast. But just leave a comment. That's all you have to do, and I will put you in the drawing. And obviously, if it gets to the point where there are an overwhelming number of comments, I will go to something like random number generator. That's hard to say. But if it's still just a few, I'll do it old school, and I'll just write your name and pull you out of this beautiful gold bowl. Okay, so that leaves Future Joy, which I don't really have right now at the moment. I know that in the States, Thanksgiving week, usually Black Friday, there's some crazy online sales. I've already done a few online things, which will be coming. I really need to do purposeful buying if I'm gonna do anything on that, Black Friday day this week. I probably should do a sweater. I say way too many times, and I'm trying to be better. Do a sweater quantity of something. I have made one sweater. I've made the flax sweater by Tin Can Knits, which I'm sure I will show on here soon. And I've made a baby sweater or two, but there goes the ums. I also have a Sunset Highway, which I started a while ago, the Caitlin Hunter pattern that everybody knows and loves. Mine is a bit of an oops. I think, I can't say this for sure, but there's a Mad Tosh sport weight yarn that I'm pretty sure was called sock, either work sock or Euro sock. I get those mixed up. And I thought it was a sock. And I don't think it was classified as sport when it first came out. I could be wrong, but I may have made just a newbie mistake and I didn't notice that. The problem is the color work, and I'm sure I'll show it on here at some point, it looks really bumpy and bunchy and odd to me. And I think it's because it's a bigger yarn, fatter yarn done on little needles. And so anyway, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big puller outer. I'm more of a finisher, and then oops, see what we have, which I know is not brilliant, but we'll see. I'm gonna see what I can do with this. I know I'll pick it up again, and we'll see. Okay, so the final segment at this point, I'm thinking of some new segments that I may add in the future that may incorporate some of my other interests and talents, but for right now, the final section is, what do I call it? Can't even remember. Stashing the joy. Yeah, stashing the joy. So, here we go. Not tons right now. 3 gorgeous skeins of Machete Shop. This is Creek Water on their Tweed DK. You gotta love those little nips. And I think this will make either an amazing hat or beautiful fingerless mitts, sorry, that was a phone call coming in and it cut off the film, and I'm gonna have to get my lovely son's girlfriend to show me how to put these two together. Okay, so that is Machete Shop. There's their logo. And then there are two fingering. This is Queen of the Bronx, Simple Sock 7525. And it's a gorgeous, reddy, pinky. I said I'm not a red person, and I'm wearing this red shawl and I'm holding up this red yarn, but there's something about red and pink. I have a huge soft spot for red with pink. I just absolutely love it, and I think this does it really, really well. And then the other color is, you can tell I'm a pink girl. This is pink too. It's called Rooster, and it's got some black and tons of sort of variegated pinks and a little bit of like pops of yellow. Really, really, really beautiful, and no idea what I'm going to do with it yet. I have some socks on the needles. I'm not a huge sock knitter at the moment. Last summer, not the summer we just had, but summer 2017, I actually made socks for all my kids and girlfriends and all of those people, and I'm not sure anyone really loved them. I mean, I'm not sure anyone's really fit the way they wanted them to fit, and you know, they could all get them on and they all wore them and we took a great photo, but I don't know. Like, I feel like my hats have been more successful, and they're certainly quicker and easier for me to do. Now, having said that, you know, part of it may be that it's not that cold here usually, but it is right now. And yesterday I grabbed my only finished pair of socks that I've kept, and I wore them all day and I loved wearing them. So it would be nice to have maybe not a box of socks, that's kind of ambitious, but some socks for me that I could use. So again, we'll see. I certainly have a ton of sock yarn, so it would be nice if I got some interest in sock knitting. And again, I said I do have some on the needles, which I'll show at some point, but they've all kind of stalled out. And the problem is when I was doing them at the beginning, when I first learned how to do them, and I did them fairly routinely, I kind of got this rhythm and I figured out like how to do the heel flap and gusset, and it wasn't so onerous. Now I'm afraid I've forgotten all of that and it seems a little daunting, so we'll see. Anyway, okay, so that's the yarny part of the Stashing the Joy. And then I got this gorgeous book. It's by Emily Foden, the dyer behind Viola Yarns. Oh, there goes my dog. And it's put out by Pom Pom magazine, and there's just something really pretty about it. The patterns they're sweet. They're not overly tailored. There's this, I don't know if you can see that. It's a really like cozy, long, oversized sweater. This beautiful hat pattern. So I think they're things that I will probably want to make. It's just a beautiful book. It talks about her story and her journey to dying. It just arrived. I haven't really had a time to fully look through it, but it's really neat. And then my second book is called Knit Me, Dress Me, Love Me, because I couldn't resist after Allie on Little Drops of Wonderful podcast, who's adorable if you have not yet seen her. I'm not a toy knitter. Like, I really haven't done that. When my kids were little, I did make some sort of stuffed animal. Oops, sorry, I just pulled that away. I did make some stuffed animal toys, and you know, just sewn toys, and I loved doing it. But I haven't really. I'm a little afraid that my foot's falling asleep, that it will be all fiddly to try to make little arms and legs and all of that. But one of the things I love is playing with kids, and I love things being sort of having things to create stories with. I'm a big storyteller, so I can imagine that someday when I have grandchildren, I will be very excited, maybe even want to like write a storybook and knit the characters and clothing, and that sounds awfully ambitious. But if you can see, they just have like a whole school set and clothes to go to school. And there's a beach set, and there's lots of different animals. Some of the clothing is sewn. I mean, how can you not love a mouse in a swimsuit? I mean, really. So I'm gonna see if I can figure that out at some point. Maybe I'll be more motivated when I actually have a child who's married and thinking of having kids, which is not the case right now. And then finally, 150 Scandinavian motifs, which I heard about on another podcast, Cake and Vikings, I think, is the person. And I am really, really fascinated by color work. I think it's just really gorgeous, and geometric patterns really speak to me, and I love playing with color. So the idea that I can take a pattern and make it my own just by changing colors, and make it a second time by changing colors, and make it a third time by changing colors again, and it looks completely different. You know, sort of like how I feel about this glorious hat. You know, there's a string. I am really ready to make this again in different colors. Like, I think that's really fun. So we'll see. I think that's all I have for now. God help us, we'll find time in the middle of all the Thanksgiving preparation to teach me a little bit about editing, because now I have 2 videos that I have to somehow attach to each other. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks for watching. As always, keep knitting, keep enjoying what you love, and find as much joy in your life as you possibly can. Bye.